Hi, how you doing? Welcome back to Smoking Cheltenham. As promised, I'm back today, and yeah, all we're doing today is just having a look back at the weekend's racing, the DRF. Yeah, it's a weekend, weren't it? 8 grade 1s all went to Willie. I mean, that's some achievement, and it is. I mean, I know there's a bit of negativity about it all. Is it good? Such a monopoly and that. It won't last forever, and I think one day we'll look back at it all and just think, wow, that was some going. Apologise, I've still got this cold, not shaking it, so I might come across a little bit muffly again still. I do apologise. Right then, so we'll calm down a bit now, a bit excited yesterday. Yeah, good weekend, enjoyed it, and I think I was still on a bit of a high yesterday. A bit calmer today, more myself, I guess. Right then, we'll kick off then. The first race on the Saturday, 2 miles 6.5, grade 1, Nathaniel Lacy, Novice hurdle. Dancing City beat Predator's Gold just over a length here. He led for the first circuit, then he was allowed to drift back into third when Jatara took it up. Was switched off the rail to challenge on the turn for home, took it up swinging in, and he stayed on strongly to repel the challenge of Predator's Gold. He was novice at maybe 4 or 5 hurdles here. He's definitely got to be a contender for this Albert Bartlett. The extra trip there will suit him well. So he's a player in that for sure. Predator's Gold, he kind of just flattened out close home. The connections pointing him towards a Ballymore. I don't fancy him there. I wouldn't give him much chance in the Ballymore myself. He's only a 5-year-old in it, and he would touch keen here, stepping up from 2 to 2.6.5, and he looked to get outstayed. Possibly, just possibly, or maybe that were quite a brutal race. Christmas weren't in that ground. Could have just knocked the edge off him as well, I'm not sure. But yeah, he wouldn't be for me at Cheltenham anyway. Right then, the 2 mile grade 1 spring juvenile. Cargeese beat Stormheart just over a length here, with Masborough a further half a length back in third. Masborough led. Cargeese settled in third or fourth, a bit keen early over the first couple. Masborough put in a few spectacular leaps, didn't he, on the way round here. Cargeese moved up takingly on the swing for home. Come there well, took it up on the approach to the last and stayed on determinedly to keep her rivals at bay. My first thoughts after this race were that none of these will be troubling Sergino. I did love Madgebury, I did. He looks, he's a nice horse, isn't he, to look at. Stunning horse. He'll certainly be the best of these next year, I'd say, and maybe at Cheltenham too. Did say, weren't we, it were a big task this on seasonal debut. It were a cracking run first time out, really. Made quite a good fist for it. He was conceding race fitness. And he stayed at it well once he wedded. In truth, maybe these front three could kind of finish in any order at Cheltenham. I'd say Cargeese were much the best on the day, but depending how they come out of it and how much sort of Madsborough in particular might improve from this. You know what Willie's like at bringing these horses on. If he takes a big step forward here, I'd kind of fancy him to come out the best of these at Cheltenham, Madsborough. And he certainly looks a nice horse to follow for the future. But it's kind of a bit of a moot point, really, I guess, because I think the triumph this year, it's all about Sergino. I think, anyway, you know. So I'll just give you my own views here, you know. This is just giving you my own opinions on these things. I won't be right about everything. I get plenty wrong, you know. 2 mile 1, grade 1, Irish Arkle. Wow. ante-post beat Founder 50 a neck with Facile Vega another 3 lengths back in third. Founder 50 led, Facile Vega sat second, Marie National and ante-post kind of shared third for most of the race. It kind of stayed that way for most of the race until the approach to the last, where ante-post came through to challenge and he nailed Founder 50 close home. I didn't think they went too quick here for like a grade 1 2 mile race, and I thought maybe turned into a little bit of a sprint from around 2 out. Right, this has blown the Arkle wide open, isn't it? The Arkle's a fun race now. I mean, wow. Personally, I think that's kind of nice. You know, I guess if you were like heavily invested in Marie National before this, you won't be thinking that at all, like, you know. But yeah, I think it's kind of nice myself. I mean, we got like odds on favourites, the Champion Hurdle, the Champion Chase, the Gold Cup, like your big three, the big three really. Mares Hurdle, probably Supreme, Triumph Hurdle. So it's nice to have some grade ones that are a bit open in a yeah, fun race. Betting's all over the place. No one's got a clue. Right, back to this race a little. Right, okay, right. Even though he didn't come out of this, like, win this, I kind of came out of this race thinking Facile Vega had a better chance of winning the Arkle than he did before. He's ran well at Cheltenham the last couple of years, and personally, I don't find it hard to see him turning this form around at Cheltenham. I think a stronger pace will suit him there. I can see you're there shaking your head, aren't you? Like, will you go on with this horse? I don't know, is this what a cliff horse is? I'm generally pretty brutal, but no, honestly, right, I can see him finishing in front of the two here that finished in front of him at Cheltenham. I really can. I do think he'll be better up in trip, and I think that'll come next year. I think whatever wins the Arkle, we'll have all on to beat an El Fabiolo, you know. Yeah, he'd be looking good to double up if all goes well this year, I'd say. So yeah, you know, in a wide open race, I think he's got a chance. I do, I really do. It'd be some crack, wouldn't it, if he ended up winning this after the ride we've been on this year with. Marine National. Wow. I honestly, I thought he was going to win this. I really did. I did have a little bit on Facile Vega, but I mean, we did say, didn't we? He's always had these big gaps between his races, like 50 odd days. This was something he's not done before. I think he'd got a 38-day turnaround. So I don't know why that were, if it would be by design or, you know, he did have a tongue tie on, didn't he, first time up. So I don't know, maybe he does need a big gap between his races. I don't know. It could be anything, couldn't it? That's a possibility. That's like one possibility anyway, that we kind of flagged before the race, but it could be anything really. I mean, he's still the favourite here, isn't he? I couldn't have him. I couldn't. You know, it's a bit like Facile Vega, isn't it? Last year, it blew out at this meeting, went off favourite for the Supreme. It's kind of a similar situation. I don't know. Maybe someone will come to light for this. I don't know if he'll run or not. I don't know. Well, personally, I couldn't be backing him at the minute. No, I won't be backing him for the Arkle. I won't. Found a 50 ran really well here. He did. He's kind of improving with every run, I'd say. I mean, he took that beginners. I think he stepped up to grade 1, second in the Drinmore, took the grade 1 at Christmas, and then he's just got nailed here close home in another grade 1. So he's a good horse. I do kind of wonder how good this race were, really. I'm not sure how good this form is. Yeah, the Arkle, well. So, Facile Vega's still not going in the bin. We're not putting him in the recycle bin. But I think I'll have to check up on this, but I think the last 10 winners won last time out of the Arkle. Now, if you look at it like that, you've got Ante-post, Hunter's Yarn, JPR1 and Quilixios seem the ones that fit that profile. Ante-post, he finished behind Facile Vega in the Supreme last year after being impressive at this meeting. Personally, I kind of fancy Facile Vega to turn it round at Cheltenham. I think the stronger pace, and he kind of stayers have won the Arkle, haven't they? You'd imagine it'd be quite well contested now. Everyone will kind of fancy a pop now. So yeah, it should be a strong sort of pace. I do. So for kind of that reason, as much as out, I'd maybe not be immediately into him. Hunter's Yarn, he's just got this big mistake in him, hasn't he? Nearly cost him last time. It did cost him the time before. That'd worry me, that going in to an Arkle. So kind of the two I'm looking at here are JPR1 and Quilixios, and I think they're both double figures. I haven't had time, we're kind of doing all this and stuff, to have a good look at it yet. But I think by the next time I see it, I'll have back one, if not two of them. We're going to have to, it'll be a hard race for us to kind of stake now, because we went so big on Facile Vega so early. So we're heading for 6 points. I can't chuck him in the recycle bin because I think he's got a squeak. Yeah, stop shaking yet. So I don't really want to play more than sort of 3 or 4 more points. It's we're kind of overstaking this one. But yeah, they'd be the two I'd be interested in. I think JPR1 and Quilixios, and I think they want looking at. I'll have a good look at them. So yeah, that was some, that would turn up, weren't it? Three-mile handicap hurdle. I'm not going to go into too much depth about this race. We did get a good run for our money, didn't we, with Parker Kings, and we collected each way. I think he finished 5th here. Connor Stone Walsh, you know, he's rightly getting a bit of a reputation. I thought this were a class ride, I did. He kind of scraped the paint all the way around. He pulled him out on the turn foam. He produced him there with every chance approaching the last, and the horse just flattened out. But I thought he were a cracking ride, I did. He was also on JP's Percival Lagelwa, who would have maybe won, or, you know, he was certainly the best of JP's in that race anyway. So it wouldn't be a big shock to see this lad ride a winner at Cheltenham in the green and gold in a handicap. Keep an eye out for his rides in the handicaps. Connor Stone Walsh, yeah, promising jockey. Right, the Irish Gold Cup. Yeah, Grade 1 3-mile. Galloping Deschamps beat Faster Slow. 4.5 lengths here. Galloping jumped out and he never saw another horse, more or less, I don't think. At the 5th, the 6th and the 10th, Faster Slow definitely out-jumped Galloping. You know, 5 out, Galloping out-jumped Faster Slow. They quickened up smartly approaching the last year. I think I saw they clocked 36 mile per hour on that little clock thing. That's some pace to be going in a 3-mile chase, sustained chase coming to the last. Faster Slow, he could never quite get to Galloping, and Galloping just powered away close home. He showed his sort of class and stamina here. Yeah, his pace, his staying power from 2 out. Conflated ran well till coming down, and I think he's maybe going Ryanair now. But it won't be for me there. I thought Fast or Slow ran a blinder here, I did. This was probably a career best, I'd say, from him, and he's probably showed himself to be the second best staying chaser in training. Yeah. His jumping were fantastic, it were. But Galloping's still the king, isn't he? He is. Best since Courthouse Star. Yeah, probably is. And the second Gold Cup, it looks his to lose, you'd have to say. Some horse, this Galloping is. But yeah, belting run from Faster Slow, and he lost nothing in defeat here. Two-mile 1, Ryanair Handicap Chase. Give this race a mention because it's, you know, it could be interesting this for Cheltenham. Madara beat Path Daru, best part of 3 lengths here. Were prominent early, allowed to drift back through the field, asked to close on the turn for home, and I pinged the last, took it up there and quickly shot clear. This were pretty impressive, it were. He's a 5-year-old, come from France. He's only had 4 runs for Sophie Leach, and he's after winning his last 2 now. He's won at Cheltenham as well, and he has won at 2.5 in France. He could be a big contender, I think, for the Grand Annual Lower Plate. To see what the handicapper does, but it looks very progressive horse, this, yeah. Two-mile Grade 2, Future Stars Bumper. Close the card. talked a little about this fella yesterday, didn't we? Jeroboam Mushan beat you ought to know, just over 4 lengths here. Joystick took them along. Jeroboam sat second. The enabler took it up, turning in, and tried to kick on there, but Jeroboam were alongside, travelling all over him. And when he was a furlong out, he showed a rapid turn of foot to shoot clear. This was seriously impressive, it were. As we mentioned yesterday, it beat the sadly ill-fated DB Cooper easily, who then ran Supreme Hopeful, no flies on him to 1.5-ish. He's beat Redemption Day here 7 lengths. Jalon Duderies beat that horse 2 3/4 lengths. He's got the best form in the book, he has. Could end up being in the green and gold this, maybe. He deserves to be the favourite. I'd say if he were trained by the other Mullins, he'd be half the price he is. Yeah. The other horse to take from this would be the Yellow Clay. So we did play him yesterday, didn't we? We backed him for the bumper, Jeroboam. Yeah, the other horse to take from this, I thought, would be the Yellow Clay. He came 4th here, beaten 7 lengths. This was his first run in nearly a year, and he went off at 40-1 for this. So kind of against that backdrop, he ran a huge race here. He's 2 from bumpers coming into this, won them easy. He won the rear of mid-division for most of this race. He was travelling nicely, turning in, but got short of room. Had to be snatched up, and he lost several lengths there before staying on strongly into 4th. He's got to be an interesting horse going forward. He should improve plenty from this. And he looks a nice prospect going forward, I'd say. So that's Saturday. Sunday then. Mares Handicap Hurdle, not getting into this too much. I'll just say though, wrist belt, we're quite well back and we're never going, never really jumping, and it was kind of remarkable to see a plug on into 5th, albeit a distant 5th. Yeah, just didn't turn up here. I don't know. They do that, don't they, sometimes? Right then, the Grade 1 Novice Chase, 2 mile 5.5, Factor File finished alone. Yeah, it were really disappointing to see only 2 line up. It were, but they weren't just any 2 horses, were they? And I thought it was still an intriguing race. We did well here, didn't we, us Ramblers? We took. We played him for the turn as we topped up a bit on him before this race. Gaelic Warrior, he took them along at a good clip here, and it did seem to land awkwardly 4 out, and that's where Factor File took over. But he kept the revs up all the way until the last. Gaelic Warrior, he was a long way behind at that point, and he did run down it that last to his right, and he came down. So Factor File were eased down after the last. Now, I think what happened here, with it being a 2-horse race, and Gaelic Warrior clearly not himself from kind of 4 out anyway, will probably overshadow what I thought were big performance here from Factor File. I don't think there was anything wrong with Gaelic Warrior until 4 out. The pace was strong. And Factophile was well able to lie up with him. The time here was about 3 seconds quicker than Hartwood over the same course distance, and Factophile were carrying £23 more. Yeah, I think this were a huge performance, and it might well get kind of missed a little. It were a good result for us Ramblers. Like I said, we had a nice top up at fives, didn't we? Non-run and no bet for the Turners, and as I suggested, he is actually 7-4, I think now, best price. I'm still not 100% where he goes though. He's 11-4 non-run and no bet for the Browns. See, I'm not always wrong. I think this fella's a Gold Cup horse. We said it, didn't we, since September. We were sort of looking for a price there. I suggested around that time, if we could get 100-1 for him to win the Turners or Browns and the Gold Cup the year after. I've been looking most of the season and not really seen anything yet. I'll have a look now. It won't be anything like 100-1 now though, will it? You know, that would be before he jumped the fence. Yeah, we mentioned last week, I think Ginny's Destiny at 8-1 looked a good each way bet. I wish I'd have played that now. If you have a look at this Turners, there's no depth at all in behind sort of the front two, and Factophile won't be certain to run in this. I think the track here would suit Grey Dawning much better than the track on Wednesday in the Browns, but obviously the 3 mile of the Browns would suit him better. But they might have a look at this and think, well, I think Ginny's is about 3s now, and they were kind of unlucky not to beat that horse a time before. So depending where Willie goes with Factophile, he may just drop down to the Turners. It's a possibility if you think you've maybe got the beating of the favourite. Like I say, you can throw in a howl of that horse. I think I'd still probably rather be on Ginny's Destiny, but yeah, anyway, yeah, it's just something I noticed, you know, there must be some good each way bets, maybe it could be a very small field, this. Anyway, we'll move on to the 2 mile Grade 1 Novice Hurdle, and yeah, we talked a bit about this race yesterday, didn't we? Ballyburn beat Slade Steel by 7 here. Bower Road led, Ballyburn sat second, Slade Steel third. After the third, Ballyburn took the lead and Slade Steel tracked him through into second. On the turn for home, Ballyburn had everything off the bridle and he sort of galloped clear under hands and heels. He jumped well here. Yeah, it were a good time. It were actually quicker than Stateman, but they jumped one less hurdle. But yeah, they clocked a good time. The form looks solid. It does. Slade Steel, he beat King of Kingsfield about 5.5 lengths further here than Farron Glory did in the Grade 1 Royal Bond. I don't really think there's any reason King of Kingsfield would have ran worse than he did in the Royal Bond here. You know, the ground were a bit better, should have suited him a bit better. So the form looks strong. We did talk about him plenty yesterday, and yeah, as I said there, I think if he goes supreme, which I think he will, he'll go off around 8-11. I think he'll kick off that last bend and be away and gone. Can't see him stopping up that hill, he'll just draw away, I think. He's a bit of a freak, this horse, in that he's got no right to be this good over hurdles at 2 mile. On breeding, he's all over 3 mile chaser. And just in that way, he's a little bit Faheen-like, you know. Faheen were kind of the same, a bit of a freak in that way. Yeah, now, I know I came across very bullish yesterday, didn't I? And about where these horses were going, should know better really. But I can only give you my honest views. We did play them non-run and no bet, didn't we? I mean, I guess if I were 100% certain, we'd have took the 8's mystical power rather than the 5's for the Ballymore. I do think I'm right. It's my honest opinion what'll happen. But I have been wrong with Willie before. It is Willie, and I remember a few years back, I was gobsmacked when he ran Allaho in the Browns instead of the Turners. I just could not believe it. So yeah, it is dangerous. Willie Mullins been going all in with confidence, but it's how I see it, and it's not pocket talk because I formed that opinion and then backed my opinion after that race. That's just how I see it going. Just a slight disclaimer there, just in case. I do expect there'll be no decision until the week before the race. Willie will leave it late, so it is going to rumble on this. People will have the views and opinions, and there'll be a bit of pocket talk there as well. But what I said yesterday, like I say, I see Ballyburn going supreme, and I do see Mystical Power going up to the Ballymore if Ballyburn runs in this supreme, which I think he will. So that's how I see it. It is, but maybe in hindsight I shouldn't have come across quite so definitive about that. With it being Willie, Little disclaimer there, but yeah, I'll just give you my views, and that's how I see it. Slade Steele, he did nothing wrong here. He jumps, he travels, he stays, and he does set the bar in the Ballymore, Bingham, Ballybingham. Yeah, he sets the bar in that race anyway. 2 mile 1, Grade 1, Dublin Chase. El Fabiolo beat Dino Blue 8.5 lengths here. Yeah, Gentleman Demi led. El Fabiolo sat second. He was fast at the second. He got in a bit close to the third. He weren't great at the fourth. He was just about okay at the fifth. He went right at the sixth. 4 out, Gentleman Demi made a mistake. Yeah, a fairly significant mistake. 2 out, he saw a nice stride on El Fabiolo, and he winged that. It was a little bit like Cheltenham, that 2 out. And he took it up there, and he quickened smartly off the turn for home and galloped away for an easy victory. He were impressive here. As alluded to there, at times, particularly early on, his jumping were a bit scruffy. But when he meets one on a stride, he's got some leap on him, man. He has. He's a monster, this horse, he is. He's a monster. Hard to see past him at Cheltenham. He can only beat himself. Right then, Irish Champion Hurdle. 2 mile Grade 1. Stateman beat Bob Ollinger 5.5 lengths here. Yeah, not Ilite Thompson. I put the abbreviation down and forgot the name there, but yeah, the double green horse there, he led. Stateman set second. The double green horse there, it'll come to me. Made a mistake at the third. Really poor at the fifth. He went right at the sixth and the seventh. After 2 out, he was ridden to maintain the lead, and just 2 lengths kind of separated the field at this point. Stateman and Bob as well were travelling all over him. Stateman took it up turning in, and he quickened smartly clear. I thought this was really impressive. I think he's getting better, this horse. I do. I thought this were brilliant from Stateman, and I think Constitutional won't get away with being anything less than 100% at Cheltenham. Yeah, as good as he is. I thought this was good. I thought Bob ran a great race here. He did, didn't he? He's back. He is. He's done, 3 big runs in a row now. He's kind of back. I'd say that Aintree Hurdle's got his name on it, and he'll probably take in the champion first. And I'd say he'd be looking good for a 3rd place there in Pass. Pass ran a shocker here, I thought, under a forceful ride. His jumping was woeful. Yeah, he probably didn't like being ridden like this, but it was still a poor run, this. It were... Yeah. Don't know what they were doing with this horse, but this were not good. Right. And the handicaps. The 2 mile 5.5 Leopardstown Handicap Chase. It's grade 3 Handicap Chase. This Hartwood beat Rianne 14 lengths here. This was a good result for us Ramblers, weren't it? Hartwood, he was always well placed just behind the lead as a sort of leading pack. He travelled strongly into the lead on the approach to the last, and he powered clear on the running. He really did. Pardon me. This were a big performance. He's gone up £12 for this to 148. He could still be competitive off that mark. He could improve for a step up to 3 mile the way he's sort of powered clear on the running here. But he'd be too high for Kim Muir. So if he goes to Cheltenham, I guess it's probably the play. Percival Legelwa, he ran an eye-catching race, to say the least. He was kind of eye-catching through the race. He came to challenge at the last, and you'd say at that point maybe he looked the winner. He would, the way he came, but he crashed out there. The way Hartwood kind of powered clear on the running, we'll never know. I mean, Percival Legelwa certainly stays well, but he did sort of take off a bit on the running, Hartwood. Don't know, we'll never know. But either way, this were a big run. We were looking at him for the Kim Muir. He's up £5 to 137, and he's got to be interesting there. He has got a mistake in him, and that cost him here, and that would be a worry, I'd say, more than the handicap mark. Just have to forgive me 1 minute. I'm back. Sorry, apologies. Got this coffee again. Right, yeah, where are we? Good Time Johnny. He stayed on well from rear, never really put in a race. Stayed on past beaten horses really. Into 5th pace, beaten 27 lengths. He's not the biggest, and jumping looks a bit of an effort for him. He's rated 135 over fences, and he took the Pertemps last year off 142. Clearly on paper looks interesting for Kim Muir. It's not been missed in the market. His favourite at, I think, 9-1 best price. Undeniably, he'd have to be of interest if he turned up there. But for me, his jumping would be a bit of a worry, and I think the English handicapper might kind of murder this fella a bit, because the English handicapper does take into account the hurdles rating kind of more than they do in Ireland when they're assessing them over fences. So he took the Pertemps off 142 last year. It's Tony Martin. I wouldn't be surprised to see this fella get 146. I wouldn't. Yeah, it'd be borderline, I'd say. I kind of think the handicapper will have a bit of a birthday with him. We'll see. I think he might be a bit harsh with that horse, but right. I know the way you're thinking. He disappointed here, but I won't be writing him off. Maybe there's another day for him. I think, you have to look at the sort of rest of his form there. Yeah, I still think he'll probably pop up somewhere. We did say, didn't we, thought his mark were a little harsh, and maybe they thought that as well. Maybe they might try and work that down a little bit before striking. Right, the 2 mile Liffey handicap hurdle. Lordiskin beat Magical Zoe 3.5 lengths here. I won't get too much into this race. I'm just saying this because we backed him, but I do think the 2 to take from this race were the 2 we backed. Zenta ran third here, a nose behind the second. She travelled powerfully into this and just kind of flattened out late on. This were her first run back over hurdles, and the sort of vibe you were getting from the stable, what I were getting anyway, just reading Willie's comments and stuff, well, this were kind of expected to need this a little bit just to put her right for another day. She did go up £4 here for this. This would be 142 for the county. Just watching her runs, I'd worry about that hill a little bit. I'm not sure. She could be better on a sort of flatter track, She's got a lot of speed, hasn't she? Not quite sure about the hill for her. Bailey stock, and I did actually flip these round on the day and made Bailey stock after reading them comments. The Bailey stock made him his bigger bet, and he was strongly supported into 13-2 for last year's winning connections. I'll just read you the running comments in the form here. Midfield on inner, going easily when brought down 2 out. Kind of says it all. Yeah, a bit unfortunate maybe. He's still rated 138. I think he's got a big pot in him off that, although I think this were meant to be the day. Again, he could get a fair hike off the British handicapper. You wouldn't know how we'd play him. But yeah, a bit unfortunate here, I'd say. And he's got a race in him off that mark, I'd say. Not really do the mayor's bumper. And, well, yeah, that's that then, really. Right then. So the performance of the weekend, this was interesting. Yeah, I think you get different, quite often I think you kind of get the same 3 horses whoever you ask. This time maybe not so much, not everyone will agree with these, but this was just my view here. I gave number 1 to Stateman. I did. I thought he was really impressive. I think he's improving all the time. I don't expect him to beat Constitutional. I don't. I think he'll get a hell of a lot closer than he did last year. He might give him a race. Yeah. And Constitutional will have to be on his game. Yeah, I thought he was really good. Second, I gave to Ballyburn. He kind of did something I didn't know if he could do that at 2 miles, and he did it, and he did it well, didn't he? That was impressive. He jumped well, travelled well, quickened away. I mean, you could not fault that. And yeah, I do. If he goes supreme, I think he wins. Well, he'll win whichever, won't he? And he'll go off odds on whichever, more than likely. Third, I gave to Jeroboam Machan. I did, because this was pretty flawless, really. I thought it was really impressive, and he's kind of stamped. You know, he's sort of at the front of the market now, hasn't he? Yeah, he's kind of just appeared on the scene there at the front of the market. This was the best bumper form of the season, and he did it impressively. Galloping and Factor File came close to being on here. They'd be the other two. Galloping did get out, jumped at a few fences. Factor File, he was close to getting on this street, which I know a lot of people would maybe not like, but I thought that was quite a huge performance despite finishing alone. So that's that. Just a couple of things to mention. It's a good time now, I'd say, to be playing about with the multis. At least if you get the Willie Mullins bingo wrong, you're not losing your money, although it does sort of maybe spoil the bets a bit, but maybe. But basically, anyway, we've got non-run and no bet now, haven't we? And you can have a play about with the multis and have a bit of fun with them. It's the sort of time to be playing now. If you're doing the short price stackers and stuff, you're looking for favourites to lump together in sort of doubles and trebles and things. Personally, just my thoughts, I'd be leaving Constitutional and El Fabiolo out of those at the prices that they are. Because to me, you've got those horses. You've got like a Ballyburn, a Lossiemouth, Sergino, Galloping. Them ones are just kind of shader odds on, aren't they? Whereas these ones are heavily odds on. You're looking at 1 to 3 and the like. And to me, they're no more likely to win than the other ones, really. It's just, you know, they'll probably not all win, but it'll be something like, you know, one will come down or just not turn up on the day. We've seen like John Bon, haven't we? Marine Nationale. So, yeah, if any go down, I think that'd be how I see it anyway. I just don't think they're worth it at the prices they are now. Okay. Right, we'll do our ante-post roundup next Monday. I'll have a bit more time, I think. Yeah, we'll get that done. I know we're a bit late with it, but we'll have that done next Monday. So that's that then. I don't think I've missed anything. Yeah, cracking weekend it were. I hope you enjoyed it and found some winners. And I'll be back, I think, on Friday. So I'll see you then. Take care. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Bye.